Okay, so you guys are all at Matthew 7:28, right? Okay, so what were we talking about last week? The Sermon on the Mount. Yes, we are on the Sermon on the Mount. So Jesus just finished the Sermon on the Mount, and he comes walking down, and there's great crowds all around him, and he talked about the kingdom of heaven and how completely different it was than the kingdom that we have here. Those who are persecuted here on earth are honored in heaven. The meek, the gentle, instead of the strong and the powerful, will inherit the earth. That's different kingdom. Okay, we talked about 2 words last week. Anybody remember what they were? Calvin.
Inside and outside.
Yes, inward and outward. And we talked about how people of the day were mainly concerned about the outward, how they looked, how people thought of them. And what is Jesus concerned about? David. The inward. Yeah, he's concerned about your heart. He's concerned about your thoughts. All right. So he's just finished that. Jesus told him it's what your heart counts. And the priests have been telling people the exact opposite. They've been demonstrating that as long as you'll pretty much look good on the outside, that's all it was. So do you think the priests were happy with Jesus or sad or mad? You can give me an up or a down. The priests were not very happy with Jesus. He's kind of coming in and he's shaking up their entire system and he's messing everything up. All right. Who wants to read Matthew 7:28 for me? All right. James, you get 28. Anybody want 29? Carson, you can get 29. All right. James, nice and loud. Teaching. All right, Carson, 29. Very nice. Everybody give him a round of applause. Nice job. All right, I'm going to read it one more time, and I want you to listen for a certain word, okay? We're going to listen for what the crowd was. It's going to say the crowd was blank. All right, listen. Oh, I haven't read it yet. You got to listen. All right. And when Jesus finished these sayings, the crowds were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one who had authority and not as their scribes. The crowds were astonished. Yeah, you can all say it. If I open it up to everybody, you could just say it, all right? They were astonished. Who knows what astonished means? Ellie, what do you think astonished means? Yeah, that's perfect. That's a great word. They were amazed. They were astounded. They couldn't believe what they were hearing because it was different than what they would heard before. So Jesus taught with authority. He said, this is what it is. This is what it means. Why can Jesus teach with authority? Ellie? Because he is the Lord of all. He is authority. He is the definition of it. He made the world, so he gets to be the author of it. He authored the world like somebody authors a book. All right? So the teachers of the day, they didn't do that. So these people are waiting to hear. They've been waiting 400 years without hearing from God. They hadn't heard, the prophets weren't there anymore. They hadn't heard anything. And guess what? A guy sits down on a mountain and starts teaching with authority. And all of a sudden, this person that they've been waiting for, everything that they've been waiting for, everything that they've been promised, he just sat down and he's here. And the people are like blown away. Like, have you ever been on a roller coaster and you get done and you're just like, you feel like your face is kind of warm and you're just like, I don't know what just happened. Anybody ever felt that? It's kind of what I'm imagining. No, you've never? All right, you guys haven't been on good. Yeah, you literally feel it. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? You get off a roller coaster and you can't believe what you're hearing. So that's how Israel was feeling right then. All right, we're going to pick it up in chapter 8. So that's all pretext for what happens next. All right? So chapter 8, who wants to read verse 1 for me? Joel can read verse 1. Who wants to read verse 2? Chloe, you can read verse 2. Dee Dee, you can do verse 3. And then we're going to have verse 4 be Naomi. All right. Verse 1. Joel, go ahead. Everybody, I want to hear it nice and loud.
When he came down from the
All right, very nice job. Who was verse 2? Chloe. Verse 3? I think we skipped verse 3, did we? Who can read verse 3 for me real quick? Okay. All right, you want to read verse 3 and 4 real quick, Dee Dee? All right, I'll finish it off for us. All right. And Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I will be clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Jesus said to him, see that you say nothing to anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a proof to them. All right. Now, first thing when we get into this, we're going to talk about something really, really, really exciting. We're going to talk about leprosy. I'm just kidding. It's not that exciting. Does anybody know what leprosy is? David. It's a really gross skin disease. And guess what? So it could have been a lot of different things. Like there was like some leprosy that was really bad and some leprosy that wasn't so bad. But it could be really bad. So if you go back, and we're not going to go back there right now, and look at Leviticus 13 and 14, there are all sorts of rules for the priests for how to handle leprosy. All right, it was a little bit like going to the doctor, but instead of the doctor, you would go to a priest and you would say, hey, look at this thing on my arm. What do I do? And the priests had rules, and they would, depending on the color or the size or whatever it was, there would be different things. So if they look at it and be like, it's just a bug bite, you got to go home, you were fine. But if it was something that was in the list of the bad stuff, the priest would tell the person, oh, okay, go be alone for a week. Quarantine. Literally, this was early quarantine rules back hundreds of years before they had anything like this. And don't touch anything, don't look at anything, don't infect anything, and then come back. And we'll see if it's better. If it was better, you were good. You got to go home. If it was bad, you would do it again for a week. And if it got worse, then you would be pronounced leprous. And that was bad. You didn't want to be leprous. And basically, that was kind of it in Israel. You had to wear torn clothes. You had to wear your hair down so you couldn't do your hair. You had to cover your face, like with the mask. And if anyone came near you, you had to shout, unclean, unclean. Basically, let everybody know at all times that if they saw somebody with nasty, ugly clothes and hair and a mask on and shouting unclean, don't go near that person. Don't even touch them. Don't even look at them. Just, ugh. And they had to stay outside of town. They couldn't live in their house. They had to live in this like little leper camp outside of the town. So it was kind of bad. And being an outcast in Israel meant other things. It means that you couldn't offer sacrifices at the temple. So you couldn't come to church. You couldn't do anything like that. You couldn't work. It was a very, very lonely life because nobody could go near you. If somebody touched you and you were a leper, they had to go quarantine for 2 weeks. So nobody wanted to even go around the lepers. You hoped that maybe somebody would take pity on you and give you some money or some food, but they didn't even want to come near you. So you're not even necessarily getting that all the time. All right. So we're going to go back to Matthew 8 and think about this. This guy is a leper. He is not supposed to be in town. He's not supposed to be around people. And what does he do? What does it say in verse 1? In verse 2. And behold, a leper came to him and knelt before him. Can you guys imagine? Like, let's imagine a guy comes walking up here and he's got green skin and he's kind of smelly and he's going, unclean, unclean. is anybody going to run up to him and give him a hug? No, not at all. Because you might get what he has, and you definitely don't want that. So, can you imagine all the people there like, why is this guy coming to Jesus? What is he doing? I'm guessing they were shocked and scared and like, what is going on? So this guy comes up to Jesus, he kneels before him, and he says, Lord, if you will, you can make me clean. So right off the bat, we get that this guy gets it. He kneels before Jesus, he calls him Lord, and he doesn't say, hey, can you make me clean? He says, if you will. He believes that Jesus can do it. He knows that he can do it. He has no question on if Jesus is able to. But he says, no. If you're willing to, will you make me clean? So the thing that I'm always curious about is, how did this leper hear about Jesus? How did he know that he was in town? Who's like walking a leper camp and be like, hey, this guy, like, he just knew, and he knew that he had to be bold and come up to him. So what does Jesus do? Before he healed, he touches him. All right, if you touched a leper, you were unclean. That's not something that anybody does. And guess what? Jesus didn't have to touch him. He decided to. Because in next week, if you guys come back, we're going to learn about Jesus healing somebody else. And he does it from across town. He just says, yep, they're healed. Boom. He doesn't go to their house. He doesn't even go near them. He just says, with his voice, he says that they're healed. He just does it. So Jesus purposely does this. He purposely touches him. And we're going to get back to that in a little bit about why he does that. But then continue with the story. Jesus tells the guy, don't tell anybody. It's kind of weird, right? If Jesus can heal people, why would he say, don't tell anybody, Mr. Leper? Just go to the priest, confirm that you're now clean, and that you can be welcomed back into society. So it seems kind of odd. Why wouldn't he say, hey, go tell all your leper friends to come to me too, I'll heal everybody? Does anybody have an idea why? Calvin, why do you think?
It wasn't his time yet?
It's partially, yeah. So Jesus didn't want people to think of him as just the guy that heals people. Or what's another miracle that Jesus does where he divides things? Anybody remember that one? A guy comes in with one basket of...
Red fish.
Yep. And what does he do?
Feed 5,000 people.
Wait, how many people?
5,000 people.
That's pretty cool.
Including their wives and children.
Yeah. So he feeds a lot of people. What else does Jesus do? What's another miracle that he does?
He rose from the dead.
Adeline.
Turns water into wine.
He turns water into wine? Yeah. So Jesus does these things, but what is his ultimate purpose on earth? Somebody besides Calvin, because Calvin's got all the answers. James.
God has a clean people.
What was that?
Clean people.
Clean people? Like what? On the inside? Yeah. Jesus didn't just come to do these little things. He ultimately came to tell people about salvation. He came to heal them not just from leprosy or to give them a meal. He came to give them food forever. To heal them forever. Not just you don't feel really good. All right, bam, here's your stomach ache. He didn't want to be thought of as just like a magician or a parlor trick. Because here's the thing. If you feed somebody and they're like, great, I'm fed, but they still don't believe in Jesus, they still don't know that he's the Savior, what happens to them at the end of their life? Eleonora. What? Yeah. And they don't just die here, they go to hell. Jesus came to heal them forever, to give them eternal life, not just a temporary thing. And so that's why he says, don't tell anybody, but because I've got bigger things to do. He's got bigger fish to fry. So the story of the leper is a little bit of a picture of what was to come. Because just like Jesus took the uncleanliness of the leper, he took that disease away, Jesus will take our uncleanness away forever. Right now, inside, if you don't have Jesus, it's kind of like you got leprosy inside of you. Your heart isn't right. Your heart is a heart of rock. And what does Jesus come to give you? A heart of... Eleanor, you knew this one last week. That's what it is right now. Yeah, what does he come to give us? A heart of boom, 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 boom.
Flesh.
Flesh. Good job, Joel. A heart of flesh. Yeah, he came to fix us with everything. All right, so you know how the lepers were separated from all the people in Israel and they had to shout, unclean, unclean? That's kind of what sin does. Sin, when we sin, it separates us from other people. We're selfish and we're mean and we don't listen to our parents. And what does that do to the relationships here? It separates those relationships and it hurts those things. Whereas God came to bring us back into his family. He brings us into his family and he heals that relationship, just like the leper was healed. All right? And sin also separates us from God. And Jesus came to heal that relationship with our Creator. So Jesus came to take our sin, to heal us, to take the leprosy in our hearts, and he's going to fix all of that. And he does it for free. Just like he didn't tell this leper, like, hey man, I fixed your leprosy, now give me $30 or anything like that. No. He did it by dying on the cross, and he gives that to all of us. And all, you know what we have to do? All that we have to do? Just like the leper came, what did he do? He knelt before Jesus. We come humbly to Jesus, we kneel before him, and we fall on his grace. We say, Jesus, if you will, make us clean. All right, that's what I got for us tonight. I'm going to pray, and then we can chat a little bit, all right? Lord, thank you for salvation, for that gift that you offer us. May those that don't have it seek you, seek your word, and seek to become one of your children. And for those that do, Lord, may we be thankful for it. May we be serving you. May we give our lives to you every single day, living for you. Lord, thank you for that. In your name, amen.